Today we're here joined by Roger in the TV studio.
Okay, yeah, hi, I'm Roger Henry. I'm the Chief Executive for Real Talk TV in Nottingham. It's a great pleasure to be on your show.
What do you do for work? So what do you do with your company?
Well, I think where we first started was to kind of have a platform, which was to give the voice to the voiceless. Because what we realised was that there was so much stuff that was going off in communities, in society in general, that everything was kind of a bit of a blur, especially through lockdown, and more in particular when we had the murder of George Floyd. You know, there was a lot of people that were very, very angry in terms of what they'd seen. And I think with being in lockdown as well, we quickly realised that, you know, people didn't know how to express themselves. So, and we're talking about the ordinary people, not the celebrities who tend to be on TV and all that kind of stuff. We wanted to be able to just kind of have normal people express themselves. So we created Real Talk TV as a social media platform to give people the opportunity to be able to share their feelings. Because what we quickly realised was, as well, is that we needed to start healing. You know, there was so much emotional discomfort, people being in lockdown, and let's face it, you know, we don't have glass heads to know what's going off inside a person, whether or not they're, you know, sad or alone. So we wanted to be able to kind of have a platform to give people that opportunity.
Did you expect the growth of your company to be this fast? So,
to be fair, I didn't. You know, we did it. You know, I was a guest speaker at the Black Lives Matter demonstration in Nottingham, and very, very quickly we realised, you know, that we had to have something else after this. It was great having lots of people turn up and express themselves, and I think what was really important as well, that, you know, there's loads of footage with people like, you know, Dr. Luther King back in the 60s, where predominantly most people who were in those crowds, you know, in the demonstrations were black. Where when I stood there and looked over at the 5,000 people that were there, 70% of the people that were there were white. And that suddenly made me think in terms of, you know, we can make an impact. And it's not a black and white thing here. We're talking about equality and for people to have a fair crack at being able to do things where generally it's the upper classes or the middle classes who tend to have those opportunities. So we opened up the doors in terms of equality and diversity and inclusion. And from that, the partners that contacted me was just unbelievable. So we've got people like Nottingham University, the Nottingham Galleries of Justice, Boots. I mean, the list goes on. I think there's about 20 organisations who support what we do, including all the educational organisations as well. So we thought it was a great opportunity to be able to step up. And now we're 1 year old. And as I say, you know, we've gone from social media straight onto television now, which is quite exciting.
That's great. Do you think people in the media, especially like footballers, taking things like the knees and showing their respect, do you think that has helped with that topic in a way? Seeing it on like media?
I think awareness is very much what has been needed. In particular, you know, geographically, as an example, you know, Nottinghamshire, you know, geographically there isn't many people from different diversities here. You've got Eastern Europeans, but Eastern Europeans tend to look like, you know, white people, where if you're black and you're in an area where there isn't many black people, then it can be quite awkward. I know Mansfield, I've lived in, you know, I live in not too far from here. So having worked in this environment or this area, a lot of people, in particular your age group, may have been conditioned in a certain way by parents whose parents probably worked down in the mines or grandparents worked in the mines. So there's a kind of mentality that is still there amongst young people. If you ask a black person, you know, are you racist? They're not allowed to be. If you ask a white person, are they racist? There's a big possibility they're going to say yes. When you ask them why, then they don't really have an answer. Unless they've had an experience, such as what I've gone through, because I lived in Austria in 1988, where when I went there, I was the only black face for every 20,000 white faces. You know, I was subjected to racist abuse on a regular basis. I was chased by skinheads. I was beaten up by the police. I've had my head smashed in with a hammer where they tried to kill me. If you ask me, should I be racist? The answer should be yes, I should be, but I'm not. You know, my children are mixed race. My partner is white. And I think trying to be able to educate people in terms of what racism really means or what it is why that's the other reason for setting up Real Talk TV, because you've got to have a justifiable, plausible reason why you don't like somebody. It can't just be for the colour of the skin. So we're about education, and that drive is something that we're doing a lot of in terms of education. I've been asked to run for election, so I'm going to be an MP, fingers crossed, in the next few years. So I'm into London. I'm in London a lot, where I'm being developed and kind of taught about politics, because I've never voted in my life. But to make a significant change and an impact in society, then, you know, that's what I'd like to do. We're not here for a long time, but to leave some kind of legacy or leave some impact, some changes for society, in particular people of your age, to be able to open their minds. Because the reality is, you know, we're growing in terms of diversity. You know, racism is something that is becoming minimal, despite what we see in the media, which is another story, especially around football, as you asked the question. You know, taking the knee, yes, it's good that it's creating awareness, but to have those fundamental changes happen, then policy needs to change. The law needs to step up in terms of how they deal with people who are racist. And I think school education, you know, on the curriculum, there needs to be more about black history and all that kind of stuff, because it's just not there. I was raised listening to stuff about Christopher Columbus and Sir Walter Raleigh, but when you delve into that and look at history, they were nothing but pirates who pillaged and took what they wanted. You know, Africa, before any of that happened, was full of scientists, doctors, philosophers, architects. But when you go to someone's, you know, land and then by force take them away and get rid of their history and then claim that you are the superior race, then I have a problem with that. And I think that needs to change. The truth needs to come out.
And that's great that you guys are providing information for your guys' platform, using your platform to help spread that awareness and educate people. And that's amazing. And yeah, it's been great talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Great talk. Really appreciate you doing it.
Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you.